I know that I loved Wayne and felt so close to him. He was just straight family. And the amount of people that I know that feel the same, you know, that Wayne just made me feel like family. And I'm so happy to be with all of his family today. So that's why I thought it was important, everybody out there talking and sharing stories, and that's what it is. And Wayne is here with, yep, Wayne is here with us, and yeah, I'm not good at speaking when I'm sad, but I'm sad and I'm just joyful at such a gathering. So again, thank everybody so much. We have a sign up of people that want to speak, and we're just going to ask respectfully for a hard 2 minutes or less, because a lot of people want to speak and we want to make sure everybody gets their turn. And then in about 40 minutes, we're going to start the movie Join the Club. That's a documentary about Dennis Perone, but Wayne is also featured in it, and the producers have so kindly given it to us out of respect for Wayne and this event. And it's only been shown once before at the premiere a couple of weeks ago in San Francisco. So we're really honored that they're gonna allow us to show this today and pay respects to such a wonderful human.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming out. I know all of you have your own special memories of Wayne. I've known Wayne probably about the last 20 years. Us weird people stick together. He was a wonderful man. Wayne came into my life about 20 years ago and changed it for the better at a time when my own family had turned away from me because of my work in cannabis. From a very first event together, I saw a beautiful soul who was supportive, charismatic, and always able to make me laugh. We shared so many memories of cannabis events, elder photo shoots, birthdays, holidays at the Perone Castle, and even protesting the psychiatric hospital together for the John George Psychiatric, standing up for mental health advocacy. But what I will miss most are his phone calls a few times a week, starting with, "What's up, girlfriend?" I would give anything to hear that again. Wayne loves our bi-weekly bingo games. Watching him light up and hearing him shout bingo was unforgettable. We always made sure it was a party for us all. I'm grateful he chose me to be a part of his family. His awards and belongings will be shared in the museum, so his legacy lives on with Dennis. Our cannabis journey isn't over. We still fight for compassion, affordable medicine for all, and until the plant is truly free, we do not have that. So we need to step up our advocacy. When I last saw Wayne, I held his hand and told him I loved him. He squeezed back. I know he heard me. I'm thankful he was not alone as he passed, as Dan and Ken Hayes were there with him. Ken was on video and Van was there in person, and Teresa Cooper was there shortly after. We carry him with us always until the day we meet again and finally get that hug we all need. So I know he's watching over all of us, and he's still a part of our lives, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the many memories that all of you have from before I knew him. There's about 400 pictures in this slideshow that's going to keep repetition so that you guys can see his life. They're not in any particular order, as he did not have years written on them. I did try to put most of the later advocacy at the back of it though. So thank you everybody for being here, and whoever wants to start now would like to speak. There you go, Jimmy. Thank you guys for everything.
Hey guys, I'm Jimmy Devine. I met Wayne as a child in Tony Serra's boardroom. When I first got to California, I was on the board of a UN NGO, and he was so excited to see the youth taking drug policy reform activism to that level. He was never anything but supportive to me. I always super appreciated it. As an event producer, I think I can speak for everybody what it meant that Wayne was at everything. To have one of Dennis's right-hand guys support every event, it just gave an extra, when you were trying to do cool medical cannabis stuff, his presence just added to that ethos of what you were trying to do. And then of course, in Dennis's later years, Wayne was the guy that brought him everywhere, you know? A lot of the younger people that weren't a part of the 215 fight, they got to meet Dennis because of Wayne bringing him out. And it was always such an experience watching those youth glow, getting to meet Dennis, and then seeing Dennis as his health was going. The love, you could see on his face, like how much it meant to him to see these kids coming up to him, just like so thankful to get that moment with Dennis. And can't say enough about the guy. We'll always appreciate him. And it is my pleasure to bring up the great Lynette Shaw.
Hello, my dear beloved friends. Wow. I met Wayne on April 15th, 1991, the day I met Dennis. I think that's the date. And Jack had sent me to meet Dennis because he said, you need to work in San Francisco. And he brought me to the club. And I met Wayne that day, and Dennis hired me that day. And for the next 5 years, for 7 days a week, I worked with Wayne and Dennis and everybody on the cause to do what was the right thing, even though it was very dangerous and very scary and under a lot of pressure. And you know who could keep me smiling and safe? Mr. Wayne Justman. Every morning I go in there and stand right next to him, he would give me the Kodak. Well, we've got so-and-so, the big political guy coming in, and oh, we got 5 pounds coming in at 3 o'clock, and yeah, and this is who that is, and this is who that is, and just do what you do. Thank you. I'm delighted to see everybody, though I'm very sad we have to meet this way. We need to have more gatherings where we're not memorializing one of the best friends that I've ever had, and I'm sure he was the best friend that we all ever had. And that was our Wayne. And I love him, and I miss him, and I know he's here forever. If I start to feel weak, I just gotta think of Wayne. And keep going. Just keep going. Do not give up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for the reason, it's really good to see you all here. I'm Granddaddy Mike. There's probably less than a handful of people here that have known Wayne longer than I do. I first hooked up with Dennis and Wayne in the early 80s. And at the time, I was slinging truckfuls of weed back to the East Coast. And Dennis and I would walk our dogs in Dolores Park together. And you notice who gets stoned and who's the so we would end up sitting on a bench smoking weed, and I was throwing frisbees for my dog, and he was trying to keep his dog away from others. And that's how I knew Dennis for about 6 months, and then I saw his name and picture in the paper, and I found out he'd been busted, and he's a marijuana activist and was running this club. And I realized, my apartment was 50 feet down to the corner and the third house up from the club. So Dennis could leave the Buyers Club, go down in the alley, be in my house in like 45 seconds. And long story short, after a while, I came to realize what a significant role he was playing. The first time he got busted, and I found out about it in the paper, I started carrying an extra pound of weed around in my backpack, so that when I went walking with my dog, I was hoping to run into Dennis, and finally did, and sat down with him and said, "Geez, sorry to hear what you're going through, man, but I have something that might help." And I handed him a brown paper bag with a pound of weed in a turkey bag and said, "Here." And he opened it up and looked at it and smelled it and said, "Wow, how much is this?" I said, "Free for you. I know you need to get started again. This is a gift just because I support you and because I know you're on the right track." And he said, "Wow, I don't know what to say except, how many more can I get at that price?" So Well, we started doing work together, and one of the early rules was, I don't want to meet anybody. I don't want you to introduce me to anybody. I want to be a nobody, and I'm not going to tell anybody that I know you. And he said, fine, but I want you to come over and enjoy the club sometime. And I went over there to experience it, and he started kind of taking me around and introducing me to somebody. And after the third time, I said, hey, Dennis, look, I'm serious. I don't want to meet anybody, right? I really don't. And he said, well, there's one guy I want you to meet. And he took me over and introduced me to Wayne. And Wayne, he's a gentle giant. He was always with Dennis, and he was around Dennis, and he was kind of right hand, and obviously in the inner circle. And Dennis said, look, if anything happens to me, Wayne will be the one that gets in touch with you. Because by then I was, regularly slinging him pounds of weed. And sure enough, months later, Dennis got in trouble again. And then, a couple days later, I see Wayne in the park walking Dennis's dog. And I said, hey. And he went, oh man, I've been looking for you. So we got together, and that's how I knew how important Wayne was to Dennis. Everybody realizes that later, Dennis was escorted around by Wayne. And, Dennis was the activist, and Dennis had a lot of opinions, and Dennis, got along with most people, but, Dennis could be assertive. And Wayne was always there to make things smooth, to make things right, make things easy. And I realized after time that although Wayne had a whole lot of opinions and a whole lot of knowledge and knew a whole lot of people, that he was so gentle that he would say things like, did you hear, or do you think it's true that, or do you know, I'm a little concerned, there's somebody, and he would never really come out, he would never really be abrasive, he would never really confront, he would never take anything on really head on, but in a subtle way, he always was informed and interested and networking people together and supporting the movement. And so I want to encourage everyone, just think for a minute, that there are times when it might be easier to get your point across by asking questions instead of making exclamations, right? And Wayne was so good about that. I have a whole book of stories about Wayne, but one I think you might really appreciate was a time recently when he said to me, he said, Mike, I'm going to be open and transparent here. I know I can be candid with you. Not everybody would understand, but I've decided to give up smoking cannabis for good. From now on, I'm only smoking to stay sane. So I leave that with you. Wayne will be dearly missed in our community. He made countless contributions. He was friends to everyone. He supported almost everything. And if he didn't like something, he would always ask a question.
Could you repeat your last sentence about what Wayne said?
What Wayne said?
Yes.
Punchline to your joke.
Oh, okay. I've decided to give up smoking cannabis for good. From now on, I'm only going to do it to stay sane.
Thank you. All right. Frank.
All right, thank you so much. I'm Dr. Frank, as many of you know. Listening to people talk, about our friend, I get to remembering that every time I saw him, he was smiling and happy, and he's had to deal with so many different things, from the AIDS crisis to the cannabis movement and all the ups and downs. Every time I saw him, he was smiling, a warm hug. And I noticed a common connection. There was always pot around. But wherever he was and pot was around, I was happy. And again, I just want to remember the warm hugs that I got from him.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. And in fact, I feel like I haven't known him as deeply as many of you, but I must have met him 100 times, all since 1996, you know. Beautiful man.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Wayne Justman, may his name live in infamy. I love you too. And both of us volunteered our life for the cause. Wayne, yes, he was the security for 1444 Market, the Cannabis Buyers Club of California. Little did they know, we called it San Francisco. But anyway, I mean, Wayne was everywhere I would go. I mean, like, just everywhere. I mean, it would be like, oh, there's a Harvard Milk meeting. Okay, I'm going to that. Well, there's Wayne. Okay, cool. You know, I'm going to a concert. There he is. You know, for the cause. There he especially is. He became a fixture in my life. He was like a big brother to me. We had birthdays together. In fact, our birthday was both on January 22nd. So we would celebrate together. I remember bringing him ice cream and a red velvet cake that he liked a lot with some joints on it that he got to blow out. Even though it was my birthday, I was enjoying the fact that he was blowing out the candles because it was our birthday and we were celebrating it, and it was beautiful. And Wayne became to me like, I would ask for advice and Wayne would give me advice. I saw Wayne at Dennis Pearl's sacred Castro Castle, i.e. Castro Cottage, whenever I would go there, and I've been having these reoccurring dreams that I would walk in there and then I sit down at this empty table and then I'm like, what's missing in the dream? And then I realize it's Wayne and then I wake up immediately. So yeah, I'm having, you know, my brief moments, of course. I was blessed to have received a messenger message at 7:40 a.m. from Ken Hayes, who was talking to Vaughn on FaceTime, and Vaughn was in the room with Wayne when he was dying, and I was actually a part of his death at the time he died, and I couldn't ask for more of a blessing from Wayne, and the last words that he told a friend was, I love Sonia, I love her. So, I mean, I'm really honored that I knew him, and he loved everyone. He didn't have he had a mean streak to him, but he didn't have a band bone in his body, okay? And it was always kind of a mischievous kind of a mean streak, not to say that he was mean or anything, but, you know, he was kind of a prankster and a low-key and a jokester all at once, too. He could do that, and he could be a scholar and a gentleman, and just one of the best gay rights activists you've ever met. So, I mean, you know, Wayne will live on, and he will always be a part of the LGBTQ plus community, and his name will also live with them in infamy. And, of course, our Cannabis Hemp NMJ circle of loving family, he will always be a part of us, and let's just say, long live Wayne Justman. Thank you.
Welcome, Ken Hayes.
So we only got 2 minutes here, and I want to say that I recognize a lot of people here, and if I haven't had a chance to smoke a little bit with you or say hello, I don't think it's not because I don't love you or recognize you, because I do. And I love you guys all, each and every one of you. And it's a real surprise here to see not just Lynette Shaw, but look who's behind you, Dr. Frank Lucido. You know what I mean? And a lot of people in this group that are old-time members, and there's going to be more coming up that are just really, I don't know, grabs my heart. It really grabs my heart to watch some of these slides going by. I'm sitting here with a friend in the back, and we're looking at this, reminiscing about the champ. You know, there's all of these familiar faces here that we did all of this together. Was the point? We did this together. Richard is still back there. I see you. But there's some people here that are in these slides that are not here anymore. There's a lot of them. And we've heard a lot about the Perón family. And I live in Buenos Aires, and there's another Perón down there that's different, but seem to be activists in one way or another. But these photos here, we were there. A lot of these people aren't here anymore, right? A lot of talk of Dennis, but there's other people that were a big part of this. There's obviously Terrence Hallinan, who's a story I don't talk about. I can only tell this story in public now because they're both dead, okay? I was in Canada looking for another place, trying to escape the deeds that I had done here. And I received a call from Mr. Wayne Justman. Hey, when you get back, come talk with me. The message was, you need to go talk with Terrence. There you go. Okay, I need to go talk with Terrence. And I took Ed Rosenthal with me, and Terrence politely asked Ed, don't let the door hit you in the asshole. Okay? And that's when I realized that I needed to leave town. Okay, it was right then. It was Terrence Hallinan who told me, "Look, you need to get out of Dodge," and it was Wayne that passed that message along. Okay, that's one of them. There's another slide here. There was Wayne and Randy. Now Peter. That's right. But where I'm going with this is that there was also Jane, who's not here, who's not in with us anymore. She went on to right, but Wayne's specifically Wayne, myself, and Jane, the three of us, went to City Hall and worked with Terrence and City Hall and eventually the Department of Public Health, and that is why Wayne was #1 in the system, the medical card system. Okay, and now neither one of Jane and Wayne are not here to tell that story anymore. Wayne used to tell that story, so I feel like I've got the torch here to keep that story alive. If you don't have a medical cannabis card, go get one. If you got one that's expired, go renew it. That's it. Thank you. Have a good
Welcome Dale Geringer from California Normal.
Thank you. Good to see so many long lost friends here actually today. Well, I first got to meet Wayne, I guess, when he was working at the San Francisco Buyers Club, and he was always there at the bar, a very noticeable presence wherever he was. And then he was also around Dennis a lot at any public event, and whenever there was a newspaper story or a photo of people carrying a big banner for Wayne was always at the head of the procession in the picture. So he always had a very noticeable presence, but I really got to know him well after Dennis's club was closed down. And then sort of everything dissolved into panic around, all of these local clubs started coming into operation in Berkeley or in Oakland or Marin, places like this, and it was all a disorganized network. But we used to meet at Dennis's old club, so we needed a place to meet, and that's where Wayne, together with Jane Wyrick and Gary Farnsworth and Randy Webster, finally founded this wonderful cannabis club, or the San Francisco Patients Resource Center at 350 Divisadero. Yeah. This classical sort of Haight-style house with a back porch and everything, really very homey, and it became the meeting place for everybody in the medical marijuana scene and the movement at that time to meet and organize and get our shit together while we waited for bigger things to happen. So there's a crucial period there that the hospitality that he provided, the social connections he provided there were really instrumental in keeping everything together. He will be missed. I wish him well in the great pot club in the sky.
Ryan Perone.
Dennis used to speak of Wayne as one of his lieutenants. Dennis had a lot of Indians that worked with him, a lot of volunteers, but not many trusted people in the higher ranks. And Wayne was one of Dennis's most trusted workers, helpers. And it took a community to provide all the medicine that was needed for the AIDS crisis. And Wayne had one of the best jobs in the whole club, which was security. And Dennis never wanted security, but you had to have security to cover your ass. You know, you're letting people in because they have a medical need. Well, what is it? But Dennis wanted to put in Proposition 215, headaches. Because headaches, you can't prove that you don't have a headache, you know, so it's a medicine, you know, that you can't deny. But as security, Wayne got to check everybody's card every morning. And that's the best job because you get to see everybody eye to eye. And everybody got to know Wayne because you had to see Wayne to get in. And it's kind of like the job when you're working in a soup kitchen where if you had the job of putting the food on the plate, everybody thanks you. They say, thank you for this food. But, you know, you have a whole team behind you that's doing the work. You know, you didn't do it, but everybody gets to see you eye to eye. So Wayne got to know, everybody got to know Wayne. And Dennis used to speak very highly of Wayne, on how he's such a trusted person. And back then, you know, this was during Prohibition, to come out as a marijuana user, Wayne had a life prison sentence hanging over his head, basically as one of Dennis's workers. They had a file on Wayne in the CIA, DEA, every other three-letter acronym. They had Wayne's information, but he had never been arrested, so they had to scratch to find things out about Wayne, and they couldn't find much. But Wayne was also a great speaker. When he would speak, he was dynamic. He would pause and make his point across, and he's just a very good speaker. We're all going to miss Wayne a lot. He was well loved by everybody. We used to have every Friday what we called Wayne's Day, where I'd pick Wayne up, we'd go around to dispensaries and introduce Wayne as the #1 card holder. And having a medical card was like get out of jail free. You know, when you're smoking a joint, you're about to be arrested, show you your card, you're like a Superman, you know? I'm a medical patient, you can't arrest me. Say, okay, go away. What a wonderful thing, you know? As a smoker, pot smoker back then, it was like a secret society until Dennis decided that it's got time for it to come out of the closet. And him and all the volunteers and all the voters said, yes, this is a medicine. And Wayne was right there. So we thank all the pioneers for sticking their necks out. And luckily they didn't get chopped off.
Yep, still here.
I want to welcome Anubis.
Hi, yes. I just wanted to say I knew Wayne from the castle, mostly when I was younger. Wayne always had a spirit about him that was truly just like a ball of light. He always had a joke, a piece of advice, almost jolly like Santa. And even though I knew him, I didn't know him, I wasn't close with him, but I could just tell that every person he interacted with, they came out a little bit better because of it. And I particularly have to say that my generation owes you guys deep gratitude for letting us be able to have our medicine and to be queer, that without you guys, that I would not be able to do what I do now. And truly, you guys are all heroes to me. I look up to every single one of you. Thank you very much.
Ken Hayes and Forrest. Mike Foley ain't here right now. But, my fondest memories of Wayne was me, him, and Alan Ann. The district attorney smoking weed wherever he could in front of every federal building, city hall. Anywhere we could, we smoked weed together, the three of us. Even Dennis would join us sometimes, you know? Rest their souls, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say, I'm gonna miss you, buddy. You guys take care.
First of all, I want to say how happy I am to be here and to see so many old friends who I haven't seen in a while. And I think of this as a celebration of Wayne's life. So I hope you have the same spirit as I do, because I treasure the moments I've spent with Wayne. My husband Michael and I first met Wayne back in the 1990s when we were going to the club on Market Street, and we saw him in security, and I thought, this is the right guy for security. He's tall and mean looking, but he wasn't mean. He did a perfect job at security. He was a real backbone of the club. The club was a momentous experience for my husband and me. We'd go there on Fridays after work. We'd eat peanuts. We'd have oranges, apples, and buy Dennis's A triple plus cannabis. It was a wonderful experience, a great community. And little did I know that nearly 30 years later, in 2013, when we started the Brownie Mary Democratic Club in San Francisco, he was one of the original members there. And for that, I am truly grateful. So all I want to say is, Wayne is a treasure, and I hope you will honor his memory forever. Thank you.
Hi folks, so great to be here today, just to remember Wayne. I'm so grateful to have known him. I've probably known him the least amount of time than anyone in this room, but it was really deeply impactful when I did meet him. I met him for the first time and got to hear him speak at Dennis's memorial. From then, I was really moved because of my position of, I had kind of fell into this crazy, infiltrative, corporate cannabis job and working for a delivery company. And when I met Wayne, I'm like, we need to deliver this guy free weed like immediately. How do we do this? And at the dawn of legal cannabis, that was not easy. And I just felt it was so important, the messages that he held. At that time, as folks in the movement were either leaving us or kind of getting discouraged by how legalization was happening, he really instilled in me that I could not forget the patients, and I really held that dear to my heart and made it my mission in creating safe access for patients through delivery. And I can remember when we had worked very hard with so many people in this room to pass SB 34 after it was, killed the session before. But once that happened, I hit the ground running and figuring out a way to, make this happen legally. And Wayne was the first patient that I was able to provide delivered free meds to. And he was always so gracious. I have so many fun times with him. I made it a point, from my position working at Ease, that it was really important for my other colleagues to understand what we were doing. Like, we had so much to bear in the next round of legalization, and I didn't want them to forget, because a lot of them didn't know. I would, whenever I would always ask people, Uncle Wayne, which I called him. Yeah, he was, I always called him Uncle Wayne. And I made points to have some of my colleagues go over to the castle and sit at the table, and have Wayne would do the really dramatic thing. He's like, do you feel it? Put your hands on this table. This is the table that Prop 215 was written at.
That's right.
Everyone
Right.
was so,
That's right.
powerful. And he had such an amazing voice. and was so warm and welcoming. I had the honor of having him join us in the Pride parades for 3 years. And he wasn't, as he was getting older, it was difficult for him to walk. And one thing about Wayne, he never wanted to be a burden on anyone. But we made sure to rent pedicabs, and that was kind of the tradition ever since the first year I had the privilege of hosting Pride, is to have Wayne in that pedicab. I can remember I gave him a Graham cartridge at the beginning of the parade, and by the end of the parade, it was completely
Welcome to the family.
I've never seen someone consume so much cannabis in my life, I have to say. And bringing people over to the castle, they would oftentimes, I kind of had to chill out because the kids would get way too stoned. They couldn't deal with it. But one of my favorite times was I would have him join, events. I loved giving him a mic. He was such a fantastic speaker, and I always called it story time with Uncle Wayne. When we first made the first iteration with our tech team, our engineering team at Ease to facilitate the deliveries, they secretly named it Uncle Wayne's Kids, which I thought was really cute and endearing, that we're continuing this legacy with him. I've brought so many people to the castle, including my father. He was blown away to have, been able to see the legacy that they've created there, and spending time with Jill and Jeff and Brian and so many of you around that table has really been a huge impact on my life, and I will forever carry Wayne's legacy with me. It's very important, and thank you all.
I'd like to introduce Indigo Moonstar.
Hi everybody, my name is Indigo. I know a lot of you, some don't, but it's really great to see such a great turnout for Wayne. I'm here because Wayne is actually a huge part of the reason that I'm a part of this community and have the privilege to work in this industry that we're still building together. When I was 18 years old with my medical card, I found my way to the Patients Resource Center. Wayne had to kind of check me out, make sure I was legit. And when he did, he kind of took me under his wing. And I started sitting with other patients and talking to them and listening to them and hearing their stories about how cannabis had changed their life and saved their life. And this was hugely transformative for me. And I didn't know at the time that this spot was one of the spiritual successors to the Market Street. I took that with me to college because one day when the room was particularly packed and particularly smoky, this little Irishman stands up and introduces himself as the district attorney. And I'm sitting there going, are we getting raided right now? What's going on? But no, it's just Terrence thanking the community for re-electing him and paraphrasing Dennis when he said that all cannabis is medicinal because it's medicine for the body, mind, and spirit. And this moment has stayed with me for the rest of my life forward. I took it with me, it was right before I left for college in Santa Cruz. I studied drug policy there, came back, ended up getting involved in the industry, and always saw Wayne, always had a smile and a hug, and just, he lit up every room that he was in. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was to have a separate phone for your business, and that was from Wayne. And it actually took me a few years to actualize that, but I'm very glad that I did. The last time I saw Wayne was at Drag Bingo, and I wandered in with my wife on the way to the movies at the Alamo Draft House, and Wayne was there, and hugs and hellos and all that good thing, but he was down on himself because he'd forgotten his vape at home. And without a second thought, I pulled out this all-in-one from a company I just started working for, and I handed it to him. And he was so grateful, and when we came back later that night after the movie, he was just gushing with gratitude about how it had turned his whole evening around, and he just had a great night vaping on that all-in-one that I gave him. And so that's my last memory of Wayne, and I think that's a good one. So, thank you all for listening.
Wow, these pictures really do bring back some memories, don't they? Yeah. Jamie Warwick, especially for me, and Wayne, and now Peter, and Terrence Hallinan. We all did the the Millennial Marijuana March in 2000. And I have a great picture, I should have brought it. I have Terrence on one side and Wayne on the other, and I just got him like this. It's a good picture. My favorite memory is bittersweet of Wayne. I happened to be at Dennis's farm the day my mom passed away. And it was Wayne. It was Wayne that made sure that I was okay. And he stayed with me for a while. And the good times at Divisadero, when that place was open, man, that was great times. And when me and my ex-partner, my partner died, and we would bring patients. I had a place called the Yuba County Compassionate Use Co-op in Yuba County, and we would bus people. We would rent buses to bring people from as far away as Modoc County down to Dennis's so they could get their scripts before Dr. Denny and Turnip Seed and everybody started showing up in Sacramento when we didn't have no doctors this way. And if it wasn't for these guys, I would have went to jail a couple of times. The little people in Yuba County were very, very afraid of Terrence Hallinan. Terrence Hallinan helped out a lot. I'm gonna call Terrence, and yeah, a lot of good times with Wayne, especially at the Viz. But I'll never forget how he cared for me when my mother passed away.
I want to welcome one of my favorite cannabis fairies, Tappy.
Hi, my name is Tatier, and gosh, she mentioned the 2000 Marijuana March, and I was like, I gotta look at those pictures again, because that was a great time. I was there, also with a number of you, and he was so influential in my life. I was 26, and I was a stoner, and I had a roommate who had worked at Dennis's club, and I was like, that's cool. And then he met some friends who had started working at Champ, and I was like, that's even cooler. Like, what do I do? And I called him one day, and like, my buddies from college were working at Champ, Forrest and Ken, and they introduced me to Wayne, and we did all that work with the city, did all that work with all the patients, doing their letters, and it was really because of Wayne and his ability to just make everyone comfortable and make you just feel good in your own skin that I am who I am, because to this day I still host a little underground patients group because I understand, because I did all that time working alongside Wayne and all of you. And so, yeah, Wayne's missed and such a big influence in my life. And I was really blessed in the last few years that I was able to reconnect with Wayne, because I just keep my nose down underneath in the dirt, and a lot of you haven't seen me for a long time. But yeah, that's sort of what I've been up to. So grateful to have known Wayne, so grateful to have run into him again lately, and grateful to see a bunch of you here. So thank you so much.
I want to welcome another cannabis pioneer up to the microphone. Please give a warm welcome to Richard Eastman.
I'm coming down the middle here because I'm so old. And I brought Dennis with me, and my doctor that died mysteriously. And I think we all die mysteriously. I'm going to put this on the altar for a moment because the doctor saved me, he died mysteriously, and you know Dennis saved me and all of you. And this is the Marijuana magazine that I started with Dennis and Dr. Charles Farley. I'm putting you here for a moment. I don't know if I'm leaving it for the museum. Maybe. I don't know if they gave me 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so if I start singing, please don't cry. Hello, Berkeley!
Hi, Richard.
It's a kid from San Francisco that doesn't want to die right now because they all hate me. And if any of you hate me, I don't hate any of you. And when I arrived on the planet, whether it was in Children's Hospital, over near the Presidio, or I grew up on Nob Hill to run away to San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury. And Dennis came from Vietnam, telling me he had to wash bodies. But the San Francisco Chronicle recently said that we were arrested in 1969. I don't know if some of you knew that. I'm going to take this because I don't want to, I'm in a band and I don't know, I might start singing, glory, glory, Wayne Justman. Listen, all of you know I didn't do it for money. And money can't buy you love. And Dennis and his brother and all of you are my family. Because Oakland and Berkeley are crying in my soul. Because the Native American, oh, you okay? Oh my God. Don't pass out and then I'm blamed. I'm going to try to talk for 2 or 3 minutes because there may be more people if I'm the last speaker, then I don't know what's happening because I haven't left to go. And there's a tear coming in my eye for all of you. And even what I'm about to say. Another man died a week ago, like Wayne Justman. And Wayne knew him well, like some of you knew that Wayne came to the Millennium Medical Marijuana March on my birthday, many years ago, 26 years ago. I don't even know if I'm 29, 69, 73, 83, 93, or 103. But I want you to know one thing. Marijuana is older than all of us. Whether it was hashish, 5,000 years ago in the Middle East. Or Dennis used to say, come over on the Hotel Normandy on Valentine's Day, I love you. And there's a kooky guy on a ladder that owes me a lot of money named Evangelista, who's dead too. And he said, I bought the Hotel Normandy, Richard. And I said, are you out of your mind? And Wayne came to that hotel, some of you did. And Dennis almost died in that hotel. And guess who saved him? The guy that doesn't care if you want to save me. Because I rushed him in an ambulance, not an ambulance, a taxi, because he's like, Richard, please. And Wayne, I would have done the same for him or any of you. Because marijuana has always been a medicine for longer than I have to take more than 2 or 3 minutes. But I want you to know one thing. Whether I was born in 1923 in the Hollywood sign, which I rebuilt, or living in Hollywood when I was kidnapped by the government to leave my hometown of San Francisco. San Francisco, here I come home again. Open those golden gates for Wayne Justman. I don't want to sing for all of you, and I don't even want to think you have to sing for me. Because Wayne was a tough guy, and he helped me with a bunch of other tough guys, and especially the gals and the kids that came to the Millennium Medical Marijuana March when they thought I was all going to die. AIDS, cancer, glaucoma, MS, Browning Mary, Hazel Rogers. There's too many to mention on Wayne's memorial, and they said, don't talk about me, and you've already forced me to do it, because it was never about me, it was about all of you. Reefer Madness. California fucked it up, not Northern California, and some of you know that, and maybe some of you don't know. Los Angeles illegalized weed, which affected Wayne and all of you in 1907, because they didn't like black and brown kids. And here I am in a Black Panther, John Pilka, the oldest cannabis club in Berkeley, maybe the oldest one in America, Lynette's sitting there, and me, I'm like, oh, Kim Quiggle answered the phone, Robbie Krieger's playing for my birthday 26 years after I was in front of the White House with Wayne, and he wanted me to sing a song, and I don't even drink whiskey. Oh, take me away to that whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, please don't die. It was a German song. a French song, Robbie Krieger stole it, because a lot of people think I slept with Jim Morrison one night. Can you believe that? Even Little Mikey. And I said, my friend did. Was it a boy or a girl? Was it a squirrel? Wayne didn't care either because he loved Golden Gate Park. And Janice's tree is my tree. I gave it to Janice. Don't yell at me because I got Janice at the Summer of Love 40th anniversary, which some of you were there. I had 100 tickets. There was 100,000 people. Chad Helms, who discovered Janis Joplin, and Wayne was there. He was one of my guests. I talked too long. So this is all about Wayne Justman, not about all of you or me. God bless Wayne Justman and all of the folk heroes, Brownie, Mary, Whitney Rogers, California Competition Physician, Senegal 420, and I haven't left the building yet. Because I'm in a band now called Green Jello. 3 more seconds. Little bit, let me in. Down by the hair, your chinny chin chin. Coming in a coming on the smoke you again. I changed the words for you. God bless Wayne Justman, all of you. I'm either 73, 83, 93. The tickets are sold out. Whiskey logo. I'm going to go help John Porter's family continue to smoking at the White House. The 56th smoking July 4th, 2026. He died 10 days ago. God bless you all. All right. Yeah. What a variety of friends. I mean, what a day.
So, is there anybody else?
We've got about a half a dozen people left. I want us name the next 3 before I introduce the next guest speaker. Paul, Lindsay, and Rex will be next, following Brenda Sanchez. Welcome.
I'm not going to sing. No one wants that. I have known Wayne since 1970. Literally since I was born. He's my uncle. I know a lot of you know him as Uncle Wayne. He's literally my uncle. But so many of you were like family to him. And I appreciate all the love that you've given him through the years. Yeah, Wayne was a character, right? He was an advocate. He was a pioneer. He lived and loved in his truth. He was a great storyteller, etc., etc., etc. And he's really going to be missed. He helped develop my lifelong love of dogs. He gave me a puppy at age 6, much to my mother, his sisters' joy. And, you know, he loved so fiercely and lived so fiercely and really advocated for those who needed advocating, right? I mean, so many different causes, of course, cannabis, but I mean, people who are unhoused, the HIV community, like so much. He did so much for the community, and he was one of the smartest guys I knew. So, cheers to Wayne, or we to Wayne, whether you're, I love this turnout. It's absolutely incredible, whether you share a joint with him or you've been friends with him for 30 years. God bless you and thank you for your love and friendship. Yeah, and I really want to say thank you to Worker Bee Amy, who put together this incredible and all that helped with it. And also thank you to Mikey and everybody that loved him when he wasn't as capable. So thank you very much to all of you for loving him.
I want to welcome Paul Bloomberg.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Come on. Let's hear it for Wayne, guys. My name is Paul Brumbaugh. I'm a writer, stand-up comedian, and advocate. The only reason I tell you that is not because of my ego, it's because none of you know who the hell I am. I'm just telling you right now. But my claim to fame is Amy and I sat for a few hours getting really stoned the other night, scanning a lot of fucking photos. And I'm telling you, I'm so blessed with the fucking memory of hanging out, and I got to learn so much about Wayne, because I've only known Wayne for 5 years. Been on a few podcasts with him, hung out at the castle, those kind of things, right? The good stuff. But I didn't realize who I had been sitting with until we started doing interviews. So I wrote this about him. You know, Wayne was a gentleman, and I mean it exactly the way I said it. He had a rare gift of making you feel like the most important person in the room. He listened deeply, spoke with intention, and never wasted his words just to fill the air. He was also fittingly patient number one of our movement, right? Wayne didn't just witness history, he was part of it. Calm, curious, kind, quiet revolutionary, kind of, right? He carried a true spirit of the city, compassionate, open-hearted, a little rebellious, and always human first. He was San Francisco's son through and through, gentle, thoughtful, and possibly cool without really trying. And the city feels a little quieter without him. I don't know about you, but a little bit warmer having him be a part of our lives. Rest easy, my friend. Thank you very much for the light, the listening, and the love you gave so freely.
I'd like to give a warm welcome to Lindsay Comey.
I'm talking spirit. I'm talking energy. I'm talking debauchery. A lot of people have said a lot of fine fucking things, but if you knew Wayne, you were high as fuck. I didn't hear anyone say a thing about the back deck at the castle. Excuse me. But what I want to say, I ran a women's health center across the bay, and we knew what was happening because we were dying. That the truth was, nobody else made sure and guarded the door for people to get the medicine that kept them alive for another fucking hour and made sure that they could eat dinner. Do you understand that? Do you understand the 9th Ward? Do you understand that? Yeah. We died. We died. We lost our generation. And that fucker, he never died. He won life's lotto. Do you understand me? He won life's lotto. And when you have faced death down, what are you going to do to me? And he led the way in understanding that we make revolution right now in our face. That we stand in grace and no one can tell me what makes me feel good. Because my tight pants should let you know what I think. He never gave up his tight pants. I want to talk about that spirit, that love, that energy. But also I want to remember our humanity, pride, infused in every breath. He created the world we want to be. He changed the world for every one of us. Medical patient number one. So I'm talking spirit. Now I came down here at the bottom of the list, but my connection is deep. My connection is true. Because we're thriving, and that's what I gotta say to you, motherfuckers, thrive! That's how we keep being alive. Because you know, I got high with them like a month ago. And that's what I want to do. I want to stay true to myself, to you. And that party animal that stands right behind me always. Right? So keep that beat alive and burn one.
Yes. Nice save.
I want to welcome Rex to say a few words.
Yeah.
Then we've got 2 more speakers after Rex, and then the movie. Woohoo!
I met Wayne.
Yeah.
Really good, mother.
She melted the mic. Well deserved. He's smoke right now, huh?
I'm gonna replace the board, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, I met Wayne Justman in 1993. I was at a rainbow gathering in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Wow.
And I was alone, and I needed to go somewhere, so I asked someone, I go, are there any gay people here? And they said, oh yeah, just follow the pink ribbons. It goes up on the hill. The gay people always have the best view. So
That's right.
I went up, met Wayne, met Dennis, Dave Smith, a whole bunch of the characters that I met, John Entwistle, and I got back to San Francisco, and Dennis asked me if I would play my guitar at the first ever Compassionate Use Party down at Jellies. I don't know if anybody remembers that gig. And we had a lot of good memories, and so Dennis hired me as a security guard. So I was working with Wayne every day and playing my music, and every Wednesday and every Saturday, my band, the San Francisco Legacy, would play up at the club. So I just, as I'm here today, I see Lynette Shaw. She's one of my faves. And I remember when I was working for Lynette, I got busted. I came back from her club up in Marin. I got caught at the Golden Gate Bridge smoking a joint, thinking, oh, there's no cops on the bridge. And sure enough, CHP, San Francisco police, they all came and got me. And so the cops didn't really want the case. They knew it was bullshit. So I talked to a friend of mine, Pablo Heising. I don't know if you remember, Pablo was a great influencer that started the Haight Street Fair, the Castro Street Fair, Folsom Street Fair. Pablo was a great friend. So Pablo calls up a girl that he knows that's married to Terrence Hallinan. That case got dropped before I even went there. So it's just a strong community. It's an incredible community. And I'm so thankful that I was able to come today and seeing all these people that I've known for 30, 35 years. And just to pay my respects to Wayne. Wayne was an awesome friend and a great influence in our movement. Thank you.
All right, I want to welcome Randy Gordon to come up and speak to us.
Hey guys, I'm Randy. I met a lot of you people through Wayne, and I don't even know how to begin with this, but somebody sent me to Terrence Allen, and I met Wayne on his 75th birthday, and I was involved with a podcast that was for newbies, of which I was a newbie, and I said, listen, it's red wine and white wine, it's an indica, it's sativa. And I don't know what I don't know, but what I do know is whoever we have speak for this podcast, I want them to get the straight shit, and I want them to get everything from the right people. I don't want the pretenders, I want the people that really know what they're doing, and really know what, and really have something to say. And Wayne said, friend, I will introduce you to all of them. And he introduced me to everybody, Nikki and the Swami, I think I met Lynette, I know I met Andre, so many people through Wayne, just like taking me from just place to place. If we were at the Emerald Cup up in Santa Rosa, he was just the man. And so we had this great interview, and my friend Donovan came and took pictures. We were in his apartment. He was showing me, the medical marijuana card, talking about Gavin Newsom, talking about Terrence Hallinan, and all these names. But what I keep on hearing is a revolutionary, and he was an influencer, and he influenced people, and he did everything from the heart. So, I'm looking forward to watching the Dennis Perone movie. He also took me to the castle. He goes, do you want to go to the castle? And I said, it's like hallowed ground, I'm not even sure if I belong there, but he said, come with. That's what I'll remember.
Thank you, Randy.
Forgive me for having to Novia Cubby. This is Steve Cubby.
Hi,
I want to welcome our last speaker, our closing speaker for this afternoon, and then we're going to be moving forward with our movie. I want to give a big warm welcome to Kat Wilson.
You can do it.
Those are some stories. That's a hard act to follow. Why you guys, you may have, oh God. Cat is my nickname. It was given to me by this community, by my gays, as I call them. I was born in West Marin, and one day my dad, I was a San Domenico girl, best education possible. Bought me, the nuns knew what I was interested in. Herbal medicine, didn't know about cannabis. He was told it was a drug, stay away from it. One day my dad announced we were moving up to Petaluma, and that was where nobody could hear me scream. Thank you. Way out on the west side, and I'm all, fuck. Okay, fuck, he said, say it, girl. So that's why I'm up here, you guys. I promised Wayne I would do this. So, I was hoping my dad, with the land that we had, either in Forestville or in Petaluma, when I found out about cannabis, because my brother's 10 years older, my dad ended up getting every single, most forms of cancer that Stanford University had ever seen in a single person. If you guys have seen a movie called Dying Young with Julia Roberts, that's the story of my dad. He was one of the patients, the 10 that you would have to drive to Stanford to get something called a rescue drug, and I tried to convince everybody that doesn't sound good because if you didn't make it back in 24 hours, you would die if you did not receive the antidote. Oopsie. My brother came in with actual Thai stick. I was going to Petaluma High, MAGA Central, but guess what group I fit into? The stoners. But when I wouldn't do certain things that teachers wanted, everybody else was reading High Times, and I don't know how I found it, but when my brother brought an actual Thai stick, and my dad in the hospital bed in the family room said it made him feel weird, no thank you. And it was an ounce of it. I could just tell by how many fingers, never mind, see? We all cover for each other, but it was an ounce. And he was a raging alcoholic. The alcohol got him more than Stanford's cancer. Please smoke weed, don't drink, it's poison to your body. I lost my partner to drugs and alcohol. There's a person in this room that he was looking at 70 years for. In a collective, we're supposed to take care of each other in this community. There's HIPAA laws. There's good and bad. We all know what's up. Well, I was reading O'Shaughnessy's, and I was reading articles from Dr. Donald. And I grew in the sun. The minute I turned 18, I moved back to Marin. I grew as many plants as I could in my backyard, some sun-grown, taught by a lot of people in this room, taught by the best, the examples. And I didn't realize one of Dennis's birthdays, this guy came up and I said something about growing in the sun. And Dr. Donald was my hero. Never met him. And this guy goes, what? I just wrote a book, about a whole chapter, and it was Clint Werner. That's his husband. Shout out.
Where is Clint?
I'm gonna fast forward to Dennis getting married. I hate baking, I hate making wedding cakes, too much high pressure. And I was gonna make rainbow cupcakes for you guys, little mini ones. This morning got sideways. We'll all have to get together and celebrate. Community, especially during these times. Let's keep the love, please. And it turned out that there was a lady here, her brother was my first day in Petaluma High. We looked at each other, she's all, you're not one of us. I said, you're not one of us. You're one of mine, you're one of mine. He was gay in Petaluma. That was my gay, I went to prom with him. And so she's here. I have not seen her for 50 years. And here we are, that's wild. He brings everybody together.
So when it was time to do something about it, I'm a Marin girl, so where's the dispensary in Marin? Lynette Shaw, my godmother, so. She said, how good are you going door to door? And I went, so I'm shy, believe it or not. I grew up on the stage, saved my life being in the spotlight, so I'm self-conscious. I took that, everybody was all, yeah man, just fucking go to Woodacre, go to Molinas, dude, do Westbrook. Your girl went ahead and I went to Nordstrom's with my mother, who is beyond white privilege, old San Francisco money royalty, from real royalty. Thank you, my love. And we stood outside Nordstrom's. I went, nope. Every single person that came out of there that we now call Karens and all this other stuff. And my mother stood there, and I had lost my dad, and we had to have about 1 billion signatures. And I'm all, you know, what am I going to do? Sing, dance, you know, hello, my baby, anything. And they would come out and we'd tell them what it was about. Medical cannabis, and all use was medical. I had not met Dennis yet, so that's wild. So, got all the signatures. They would be all, oh, you guys are stoners. I said, does she look like a stoner? And she just lost her husband, and that was my father signing. I, in Petaluma, ran doctor's offices. I would check the charts and everything. When Mom got stage 4 cancer, I knew it because Dennis and I am probably the only chick he's ever been in bed with. I have pictures. I have a lot of pictures. You're not going to see them. You're not going to see them here. And you know why, and I will keep the promise I'm going. Anyway, there's a good Christmas when we're both wearing antlers. And that was the day he called me my mom's legal name. Dennis was the only one who knew my legal name. And that's when I knew. I get the phone call, my mom had cancer, and she did. Dr. Lucas, Marin General, said you get as much green in her as you possibly fucking can.
All right,
Mom
Kat, we have
okay.
No, we have the producer for the movie that wants to speak right now, so.
Oh, okay. So anyway, there will be, I promised him to put all the pictures in, because I always hide for pictures. We're all included, and make a coffee table book of Dennis and Wayne. So what a story. Thanks,
Here we go,
I'm so sorry.
So I just want to give you guys a quick scheduling update, because I know we're behind schedule. We're going to take a 10-minute break here momentarily, but while I still have your attention, we do have some really special guests that I wanted to introduce. We're showing the film, Join the Club. For those of you guys who have not had the pleasure of seeing it, it's a documentary about Dennis Perrone, and we've got Wayne Justman featured in it over a few dozen times. So we will be taking a 10-minute break so people can smoke and grab a plate and go to the bathroom. But I do want to introduce 2 of the 6 producers that happen to be here in person with us tonight. So please give a warm welcome to Laura Costa and Cara Cardoni.
Well, it's a real pleasure to be here, and we're just going to warm you guys up for the film. We're entertainment. I can't say anything about Wayne because Chip was our last speaker. I've got a quick poem. If you've ever been to the castle and sat at the table, you know what happens there. It's just it's a bunch of OGs, and if we could have put their names on the chairs, we would have. But at the time that I came on the scene, the first OG to pass after I'd been around for a couple of years was a man named Shep. And seeing Shep's chair empty was my first experience with what we're grieving today. So this is something I wrote for Shep. When I'm done, I'm going to turn it over to Cara, who's going to warm you up with a 1-minute song, and everybody can work their way outside to smoke, because that's the kind of girls we are. Yeah. Okay. This is for Shep, and Dennis, and Wayne, and all the others, and Brownie Mary, all of them. When you take a breath, thank Mother Nature, and smell the flowers, they'll bring you pleasure. When you learn to read, thank your teacher. And if you have some faith, thank your preacher. If you speak the truth, thank your mentor. And if you feel the chakras, thank your center. If you choose to vote, thank a soldier. You'll learn to grow wiser as you grow older. When you learn to love, thank your mother. And when you learn to come, thank your lover. And if you get high and you are free, when you meditate, thank an OG.
Rolling, rolling, rolling
doobies rolling, keep 'em hot and floating. We're high. Everything gets better when people smoke together, laughing and sharing, feeling fine. All the good we're missing under federal prohibition, wishing they'd let our friends outside. Let them out, let them vote, let them work, let them tote, let them play. Let them say we're high. We're high. Go get high.
Sitting here that's just saying cat, no, that was Cara Cordona.
You guys, excuse me, before we all go down, I'm so nervous and I didn't get to the point, so I'll see you guys later. Read it in the book, but Dennis and Wayne, they're here.
Long hair.
Let's go.
Those are all of these photos. I was given them. I was given everything cannabis wise to put them on the team and really get them together.
Well, I'm gonna go outside.
We'll work on that.